Hi Booktube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. This is my third attempt at the philosophy of reading book tag. And if it doesn't work this time, it's just not gonna happen. This tag was created by Lekden at Rock in Samsara. I was tagged by Beyond Books and Book Chat with Pat, so thank you both so much for tagging me. Lekden has a little description below his video, so I just want to explain like kind of why he created the tag the way that he did. So there's a holiday, and I'm not going to try to pronounce it, called Wheel Turning Day. It's the Buddhist holiday recognizing the Buddha's first sermon where he taught the Four Noble Truths, the foundation of all Buddhist philosophical thought. In celebration of that holiday, I designed an original book tag to explore the philosophy of our reading lives. In keeping in line with the Four Noble Truths in that original sermon, the tag only has 4 prompts, but they are open-ended enough that you can be as pithy or as chatty as you like. So there you go. Okay, so the first question I think is actually the most difficult one for me. What is your personal philosophy of reading? How do you think about reading? What does reading mean to you? How does your reading life affect your non-reading life? Man, like there's just a lot packed into that one question. So I struggle with the word philosophy. Like, what exactly does that mean? Like, I don't tend to think of myself as having like a personal reading philosophy. Definitely I have goals and things I want to achieve. The older I get, the more I realize when I was younger, I was just kind of grabbing books, and you're gonna see this in another tag later this week. It's gonna be a tag heavy August, so just brace yourself, all right? Yeah, so I really struggle with that. You know, reading is something that brings me so much joy. It teaches me about other people, about myself. It makes me think. And my reading life, it's more that my non-reading life affects my reading life, right? If things are really busy at work, then my reading life is affected. If something is happening, if something's going on, like that has an impact on my reading life. I'm not really sure that my reading life, aside from this channel, impacts the rest of my life. But I mean, really, if somebody asked me what my hobbies were, I would say reading and this channel. Those are, and maybe watching movies. So anyway, okay, I did want to show though, we're supposed to show a book for every question. So if you really wanted to know a lot about me and the different kind of phases of my life as an adult reader, this starts when I'm 17 and it goes up to today. So you could go through and look at this and see, you know, oh, these are the years Kelly's in college and this is what she's reading over the summer, or here's Kelly's like Christian fiction and nonfiction book phase, you know, and some of those nonfiction books I'd like to revisit and see if I still feel the same way about them that I did. And it's taken me quite a while to figure out where reading wise do I want to spend my time? What do I want to read? You'll see the Barnes Noble, you know, chapter in here, which is, I say chapter, but I mean it's spread out over the whole time I worked for Barnes & Noble, or was really reading a lot of YA and reading a lot of middle grade fiction, because that was my job, was to sell those books. So, and to sell them on a massive scale. Like, we wanted schools to buy 50, 100 copies, whatever, of a book, of a particular book. So, yeah. There's also the phase in here of the Pulitzer Project. So I've read all the books that have won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. This was the first one that I finished when I was actively doing the Pulitzer Prize project. I'd read some Pulitzers before, but then when I decided to read all of the books that had won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction, or as was previously known, the Pulitzer Prize for the novel, this is the first one that I read, The Late George Apley by John Marquand. I'm torn as to whether I'm a bit sentimental about this copy, but at the same time, I'm not sure how well it would hold up on a reread. But yeah, so my book journal will tell you all about that. It will tell you when I was trying to get a master's degree in library science, which did not work out. And so it's just the book journal is just a really great way to see, for me to see, like, well, what was going on in my life at certain periods. Like, you can really tell. This is probably the best way to learn whatever my reading philosophy is. The second question is, when did you first come to think of yourself as a reader? And I've said this in many videos, like, I just grew up, I always had books around. My parents were great. They never censored me they never prevented me from reading anything. In hindsight, I kind of regret that. I think I wish maybe my mom and I would have had a conversation about romance novels and what real relationships are like. I read a Stephen King book when I was in middle school, and again, I just wasn't ready for some of that stuff. So I've read several Stephen King books in middle school and high school, and yeah, it was too soon. But that's okay. That's okay. The one moment that I really consciously remember, like getting the idea of what reading is that my family was at Pomaida. Don't know if any of you have ever seen a Pomaida. I don't know if they exist anymore, but it was like the big box store in my tiny rural town. And I got a toy, and there were words. You know, there was the packaging, right? And my sister read what was on the packaging. And I think then she just instantly forgot that she had read the words, because we got to the car and I sat down and I repeated what she had said, essentially making the connection that what I was verbalizing was the text. Like, this was like a site, like a code. Like, if you understood what the letters were, then you could understand what was written there. So anyway, and my sister was like, "Oh my God, did you read that?" And I was like, kind of, but kind of not, you know. So, and the book that I grabbed for this, I've shown a couple of kids' books a lot on my channel, but I'm not sure why I still have this book, but I mainly because I love the illustrations. This is Need a House, Call Miss Mouse. So this is one of the books I had growing up, and as you can see, Miss Mouse is like a architect, interior designer, and she makes homes for all the critters. There's an underwater one. I love this kind of like Frank Lloyd Wright almost. It's got a little bonsai garden in it. Let's see. Oh, here's one for a bear. So anyway, so this is again one of the books that I just grew up around, and just kind of, I didn't really realize until I got older how fortunate I was to have all those books around me. Okay, question 3. What are some of your goals or hopes that you have for your reading life? So I really thought about this a lot, and I want to go back, and there was a tag that was kind of like a bucket list book tag several years ago, and so I sort of want to go back and see what I said in that. I feel pretty confident that one of them is to read all of Charles Dickens's novels. I have 4 left. I'm gonna get to 1 this year, and then there'll just be 3 chunky ones. But I definitely feel really good about that goal. I feel like that's very, very possible. You know, I've read, I finally finished the Berkshire Chronicles by Anthony Trollope, and I want to read the Palliser series, but I just don't know when I'm going to get to that. Hopefully not too long, because life is short and unexpected. But the other major goal, I mean, there's quite a few authors that I really want to read. Maybe not all of their books, but a lot of their books. One of the books I grabbed was Tracks by Louise Erdrich. You know, I'm not sure I want to read I'm going to get to every Louise Erdrich, but I would really like to read more of them. This one would actually be a reread. This was my introduction to Louise Erdrich. Actually, I read this my senior year of college, so it's in the little blue journal there. But I was not ready for this book when I read it. It was way above my head, and so I feel like, yeah, I'm finally old enough, you know, I've got some gray hair going on, like I should be able to do a better job with this particular book. The one goal that I do have that I really want is to read all the rest of Shakespeare's plays. I've counted several times. I keep coming up with different numbers. So I think I have 16 plays left to read, which is definitely manageable. Like, I think I can do that. He has 2 long poems, and then there's the sonnets. And I've read some of the sonnets, but I haven't read all of the sonnets. If you have any ideas or suggestions for me as to how to go about reading the sonnets in a meaningful way, I would love to hear that in the comment section. So those are my really big goals for my reading life. Now, once I finish the Dickens books, like, there may be something else that I replace it with. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Question number 4. What is part of your current reading life right now that is important or exciting? And again, I feel strange about saying that this is an important part of my reading life, but my channel is very exciting. And one of the things, once you have a Booktube channel, one of the things is you have to read so you have something to talk about, right? Like, that is key. And for me anyway, there is a little bit of pressure to read. I've really worked on it. It's a work in progress, but I've tried really hard to work on, you know, not being pressured and just reading at my own pace. My little bookish community is what like drives my reading life in many ways and motivates me and keeps me excited. Like, the Pulitzer Project, I mean, I definitely do not want to fall behind on reading Pulitzers, because the next thing you know, you could have gone 5 years and not read any Pulitzers, and then you're behind, right? So I try really hard every year, even before I had this channel, to read the new Pulitzer Prize fairly soon after it's announced. But like now it's also more exciting because I want to share it with you and see what you think of that book and what the reaction is. So yeah. Anyway, I would love to hear your answers to these questions. I will tag some people down below in the notes, and of course I will have links to Pat and Beyond Books, their versions, as well as the original tag. So thank you so much for watching. Please share your thoughts with me down below in the comment section. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, you can leave an emoji or you can give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, I'll be back soon with another video. Booktube, remember to be kind to yourself and to be kind to others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.